Chalice Lighting, All Souls Chalice Lighting by Florence Kaplow. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us.
Samhain, Samhain, let the ritual begin. We call upon our sacred ancestors to come in. Samhain, Samhain, we call upon our kin. We call upon our dear departed loved ones to come in. Samhain, Samhain, let the ritual begin. We call upon our sacred ancestors to come in. Samhain, Samhain, we call upon our kin. We call upon our dear departed loved ones to come in.
And that is a good reminder to let you know what is actually on our altar today. So I don't know if you want to put the camera over here. So you can see I have a couple ancestor altars up here. There are a couple different traditions that use, that are around this time of year to honor those who have departed. One is Day of the Dead, which you find in Mexico and other Latin countries. And the other is Samhain, which is a Celtic holiday in the Celtic countries. And some of the things I put on here, the Day of the Dead usually uses marigolds, yellow and orange marigolds. So I put some yellow and orange flowers up here in that honor. And they use the sugar skulls to help guide the departed back to peace. So I brought some of those in. And for Samhain, I'll come over here so you can see. You can see I have a jack-o'-lantern there, and I have a couple bowls. The jack-o'-lantern was often put on graves to help guide the departed on their way so they had a light where to go. So that's kind of, you see a lot of the gourds and other things. It was originally gourds, and then when they moved to the U.S., it became pumpkins because gourds weren't as, turnips are hard to carve, so they moved to pumpkins. But so that's the tradition of the jack-o'-lantern. It's really to guide the departed souls. Now both the Day of the Dead and Samhain use the 4 elements. So I have air, earth, water, and fire there as well represented to show the elements and some of the things. And that's in a way of honoring and feeding the ancestors to give them sustenance on their travels. So that's some of the things we have up here. We also have some remembrances. If you have anything you'd like to add to the altar, you're welcome to do so as well. Yeah, I have up here too, if anyone wants to look at it. Oh. And we need to update it. No, you can put it anywhere. Okay. This is an obituary book that I found, of our legacy obituary book, of all the people who had passed here at UUCB. And we do need to update it, but it's wonderful, like clippings and articles and other stuff about people, and it's just wonderful. So feel free to look through that too.
United by Story and Bound by Love by Andrea Hawkins Kemper. Gather we now into this space, this time when the wheel turns and the veil shatters. Gather we now to remember, to grieve, to prophesy, to complete our harvest before the long dark comes. Gather we now to tell the old stories and sing the old songs, to be as we have always been, the voice of our people eternal. Gather we now to celebrate that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Gather we now as we have always done, united by story and bound by love.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This is our time of sharing. This is our So Long Farewell, which is a celebration of our life and our legacy. This service we do every year. It's become a tradition for us to share the memories of those who have passed, because that's how people live in our hearts, and our legacy is through their stories. Thank you all for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as I do that. As I said, we have memories to share in our water. So there is some paper at the back, there is some paper at the front, and some clipboards. I invite you now, if you're here, to get up and go to either of those stations and feel free to write a message. The flowers are actually pens. You can use the flower pens. And I'm gonna read something, and while I read that, you can go ahead and get started on those if you would like to. And we're going to put them in the water. And for those of you online, if you would like to write a message in the chat, I can write a message for you as well. This is Samhain Ancestor Prayer, and I got it from Learn Religions. This is the night when the gateway between our worlds and the spirit world is the thinnest. Tonight is a night to call out those who come before. Tonight, I honor my ancestors, spirits of my fathers and mothers. I call to you and welcome you to join me for this night. You watch over me always, protecting and guiding me, and tonight, I thank you. Your blood runs in my veins, your spirit is in my heart, and your memories are in my soul. With the gift of remembrance, I remember all of you. You are dead but never forgotten, and you live on within me and within those that are yet to come. I'm going to go ahead and put in some of our legacy water. This is the water that we use every year at our water communion. It has been used for several years, since I believe 2016. And it is used symbolically to share the waters of all the places we've been and all the legacy that we have. So I'm going to put a little bit in this water here. And so I invite everyone here in person to create a memory of your loved one, and I will show you in just a minute how to put it in the water. And this will, of course, be added to our memorial garden. Those online, please write something in the chat, and I'll be happy to put it in the water for you. We'll take a few minutes. So you can do it, yeah. And as we close, we will read There With Us Still by Kathleen Mateague. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives, and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength. In this choice of living, it is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share history with those lives, those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust. They have not disappeared. They are with us still. Their lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands and their hearts, and we take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Now, I know we're going long, but I appreciate y'all. But I cannot pass Al Brenner. So enjoy the good times.
When sorrows overwhelm you and your body starts to fold beneath the burdens of the world upon your shoulder, when you think you're being cool and you're only getting cold, being wise when you're only getting older, when you've tried the easy answers and they're not easy anymore, and you're wearied of the dancers making circles on the floor, when with every step you take you hope to make it your last mile, remember then, my friend, that the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile. When you're in the hall of mirrors, where all reflections are your own, and you find your only fear is of dying all alone. Well, we're all in this together. Nobody told us why. We're birds of a feather. We ought to fly. And if you wonder what you'd tell the jury if you had to stand on trial, you just look them in the eye and tell them that the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile. Now when this song is over and it's time for me to go, there's just one more thing I'd like for you to know. If you're looking for an answer, there's nothing I can say. We live this thing we call a life, and then we fade away. But when you're breathing your last breath, my friend, breathe it with a smile. And remember what old Brother Al told you, how the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile.
I'm so tired and I can't sleep. I'm standing on the edge of something that's just too deep. It's funny how we feel so much, but we cannot say a word. We're screaming on the inside, can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your light Weep not for the memory.
Closing words. This Sacred Thread by Heather K. Johnuels. They once dwelled among us, the people of memory, they who know us, they who taught us, they who hurt us, they who loved us. They touch our lives time and again through their presence and their absence, through familiar scents and favorite songs, through old stories and renewed sorrow. As the earth turns and leaves fall, we reach back to renew the bonds between us. With hearts and hands open, we hold on to love, ever stronger than death. We reach back in gratitude and understanding. Without our time together, the pain and the joy, we would never be who we are today. We would have little to pass on ourselves without fear, with thanksgiving, and with hope for all that awaits. We remember those who have gone before. We honor the circle of life and death and our place within this sacred thread.
Thank you. And now we will extinguish our chalice.
Chalice Extinguishing More Than One Life by Lee Hubert. Lighting a candle is somewhat like the beginning of life. If that's true, then perhaps extinguishing a candle is like the ending of life. But death may not be the end of us. We live on in the memories of friends and loved ones. The influence we possess in life works on, moving persons or causes forward. Let us not forget that most candles have more than one life. And so, perhaps, may we.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. When life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing.